Pundits and politicians have spent the better part of a year in total denial about Donald Trump's rise.
I personally don't think Donald Trump has the staying power to get the nomination.
Trump has peaked.
Trump doesn't win.
And we here, we're no exception. Now obviously hindsight's 20/20, but the rise of Trump is actually a perfect storm we could have seen coming if we hadn't been so amused and then really so horrified. So, where do we begin? Well, it's probably helpful to start with the collapse of the Bush presidency in its final year. The Iraq War, which was supposed to be quick and easy, was in its 5th year by then. There was no end in sight in Afghanistan either, and bin Laden remained at large. And then, the economy collapsed. Main Street was asked to bail out Wall Street after being plummeted into a recession. Republicans were starting to think that the lawmakers they had elected were not so conservative after all. Into this political space came Barack Obama, a young, measured guy promising to bring about a post-partisan America who was cheered abroad and became an idol for America's youth at home. He was the first black president, and while his election was seen as a chance to heal racial wounds, it often had the opposite effect. But let's step back for a bit. While the country has changed socially, a lot of Trumpism is about pure economics. Trade deals decimated the working class, and Washington has done little to combat growing wage stagnation. At the same time, however, lawmakers have moved quickly to help the well-off. Tax cuts have been passed on high-end earners, on the theory that they'll just trickle down to everyone else. And then in 2008 came the bailout of Wall Street. People were pissed. And it's no accident that the Tea Party started forming right around this moment. And whether you considered it legitimate grassroots or simply an astroturf, the movement propelled candidates who raged against the machine. It was as much anti-democratic as it was anti-Republican. The GOP establishment was put on notice. But then, well, little seemed to change. Yes, the Republican leadership reduced spending, but they were unable to end Obamacare. You kind of need the presidency to do that. Then, in 2013, a chunk of the Republican Party decided to pursue immigration reform. Now, it was done to help address the party's increasingly dire problem with Hispanic voters, but a lot of Republican voters, many of whom now are flocking to Trump, they saw betrayal. They had helped elect John Boehner Speaker of the House, they had propelled Mitch McConnell to the Senate Majority Leader position, and this was the outcome? Now, while this is happening, Republican voters are being told that Obama is making America less safe, that the country is in decline, that our enemies don't fear us anymore. Fearful and upset with their own party, these voters turn to an acid-tongued outsider who promised to keep them safe, cut good deals, and most of all, make them rich again. So is this Trump stuff absolutely insane? Yeah, it's bananas. It hasn't been building for 8 years, and should we have seen it coming? Perhaps.